Hello everyone, this is Leo with GoneWithTheWin.com. Today we're looking at new release Daily Espada. Small arcade style action platformer with a couple of unique things added to it. One of the things that caught my attention right off the bat was that it was based on Brazilian mythology and folklore, which is not very known around the world, but it was something that I found intriguing. You play as someone who is called Dad. And Dad has a wife and daughter he needs to take care of. So he joins this really bizarre Smash TV-like game show where he can fight these horrible folklore monsters, and after each main boss he can earn a major prize. The first prize that you can win is a brand new house for you and your family. So dear old Dad grabs a sword and some weapons and starts hacking and slashing some monsters. The art style, as you can see, is pretty unique. It's kind of dark. Sometimes the smoke plumes and the shadows get in the way and cause a little bit of confusion in the combat, but the overall, when it all comes together, it is a pretty unique game. Also, these little messages that you get, now these first ones just sort of introduce the game. Here is telling you that your current target is the colonizer, and should you beat him, you will win a house. But later on, you start receiving messages from your family, and those messages are kind of funny or twisted, however you look at it. And here's the explanation, as I was telling you in the intro. You can win money or houses or cars or whatever large-scale prizes that they turn up every level. As long as you beat the boss. These bosses are the ones that are influenced or directly taken from Brazilian mythology. And if you finish the game, you can go to Wikipedia, which is what I did, and spend quite a bit of time reading and learning more about Brazilian mythology. It's pretty accurate. They kind of try to take, I guess, the imagery of those stories and come up with their own version for this game, which, again, I found very interesting. Alright, so here I am. I got the sword, I got the gun, and the difference between two weapons doesn't seem to be so much damage as it can keep, the gun sort of keeps some enemies off your back. The gun slashes a little bit quicker, but of course you have to be up close. Not a good idea with certain enemies in this game. Right off the bat, you get two different enemies to test your new skills with, and the next room, dear old Dad is strapped up and zapped. This new form that you are introduced to, the armor form, is right away you'll see what an advantage it is. You can withstand a ton of damage, and it doesn't affect your actual life bar. As you can see, it changes from life bar to armor. That armor can deplete. Once the armor is gone, you can recharge, but you're left in your human Dad form, which you can take damage. This is where you would die. If you're taking too much damage as Dad, you will die and lose the game. Here you are getting a best of luck from the wife saying please win, and the daughter is like saying stop screwing around, seriously, just come home, we have enough money, what are you doing there? And kind of the two different sides. And as the game progresses, these emails get a little more twisted, and I don't want to ruin anything, but it's interesting. I also was looking forward to each and every email to find out what my family thought of my adventures and the dark humor in each one. Okay, these guys are blocking these containers that have items in them, and once they're dispatched, the game lets you open them up. You find a key. Keys open doors. I know it's a shocker. These CP cards add points which allow you to put together the power-ups that you find. You find various ones. Some that extend your combos, some that give you finishers or special energy abilities when they charge up. These are all contained in these little chests. So finding them all and then deciding which powers you want to use or which combo chains, extensions you want to use is important. Some boxes are easier with more combos. Some are easier with better energy attacks. It just depends. Here's the first one that you get. It is just a standard slash, but it takes care of this vine or whatever it is in the way, and tells you that don't forget that foes are dispatched quicker with the energy attacks. I mistakenly slashed way back instead of going forward. And I got a backslash ability. It says you can equip in a terminal. The terminals, again, when you push up on them, you get your emails. You can also change your power-ups. Just select them. Now I have the backslash ability, the 2 normal combos when I'm in normal form. They eat up my CP meter, so you can only have certain ones active. If not, you have to find more cards, and you can turn on more power-up abilities. The controls in this game I found were pretty fluid. No complaints in the controls for jumping around, ballet, dancing around all the bosses and enemies. I also like in a sense, that unique art style that the game presents. And some of the monsters are kind of strange. Like here's a guy, this is Colonizer, but you know, I mean, just look at this guy. He's throwing dark cylindrical tube-like things at you, and he's bending over. He's moaning. I mean, the poor guy's probably just constipated, and you're killing him. I mean, don't you feel sorry for Colonizer? I don't know. Anyway, I don't know, when I listen to the voice acting, here's some of the parts that are kind of like bizarre. Like the voice acting just repeats over and over and over again. Sometimes it gets a little annoying. But here is a positive. I've never really heard anyone use the word "ga" correctly or accurately or have it sound real. But this guy, I mean, you can tell he's in pain. This "ga" that he's using, I mean, the execution of it is perfect. I can really feel, you know, the colonizer's distress. He might have a few polyps or a hemorrhoid or something, I don't know. But right now, I can tell you I feel his pain. Could be because I also had 2 big servings of lasagna, and I'm feeling kind of gassy and bloated. But, like I said, I can relate to him. Anyway, you're kicking Colonizer's butt. It's pretty simple. He doesn't really put up much of a fight. I did lose my armor, and I transformed, so I am taking damage, but Colonizer is almost dead. His gauze will be vanquished forever. He is the first boss, and the learning curve or the difficulty curve sort of ramps up from here. The second boss is, of course, a little harder. Third, even harder, the Headless Mule. And that was a cool legend. The text was so disturbing that I kind of paused the game and ran over and read about her story or that folklore right away. The Headless Mule is about a girl who is abused or molested by a priest, and then her form or her after she's dead comes back for revenge and is some sort of headless mule creature. So the backstories were kind of jarring sometimes too, because their dialogue is just spread out throughout the level, and it was kind of like this weird conversations going on but I had no prior knowledge of. But again, it inspired me to look back at these myths and folklore that they're based on, and again, I found them interesting. Now, each of these bosses has a secondary boss room with 3 chests. Depending on how high your difficulty level was, will depend on which ones you can open and the power-ups and abilities that you get from them. Also, after beating a boss, you'll start getting more emails from your family, and you'll also get some files as to, you know, again, those creatures, what their folklore is based on. Now, I went and put the difficulty up higher, and we're gonna do Mr. Colonizer again, because I would like to get the better power-ups with it. Now, I don't know why, but as you can see, this is what I was talking about. In the center of the room, it's just darkened out, and although the Colonizer has a lot of gas and obviously, you know, bathroom problems, but combat with him is not too complicated. But some of the other bosses, the large amounts of smoke and explosions and, you know, things flying around, you can get lost in it really easily. It's a small minor complaint that I had with the art style, but other than that, it's very distinct, the very contrasty or very unique shapes and just the styles of these monsters are pretty cool. The game itself, and here's a drawback, is pretty short. It takes about an hour to go through the first 4 levels. Now there's a 5th level and more combat, but it's essentially the same thing. You can probably finish the entire game in about 2 hours. This is a pretty major gripe for a game that might be on sale right now for $10. For some, that's just not acceptable to pay $10 for a couple hours of gameplay that you can choose to keep playing and keep exploring, keep finding keys, but it's pretty much more of the same. Now, in time, value changes when prices, and the games are on sale. So I just want to let everybody know that I had fun with this, and when it's at the right price point or in a package deal, check it out. Definitely check it out. And definitely look up the information if you're interested in that stuff. I mean, I am. I love the mythology and history, so I ran through and looked it all up. I appreciate what the developers have done, mixing, a modern theatrical, it's not theatrical, Smash TV style theme with this ancient folklore. It was pretty creative. It could have been a little more polished. I crashed a few times when I was playing this game. The English sometimes is a little confusing. The graphics can be confusing, but like I said, overall, it is a fun game even for the short amount of time that you get to play it. Now, I skipped forward, and I'm facing one of the bosses that gave me such a nightmare, but it was one of the better bosses. It's Kuka, and Kuka has her own strange backstory. She's also voiced by a sassy black woman. I don't know why. As I mentioned in my review, though, she's also, I don't know, she sounds just like the Dunkin' Donuts drive-through teller lady that I used to pick up my coffee from. Just like her. And it was kind of odd playing this level with her voices and stuff coming through, because I just constantly felt like I was going to stop and get a, coffee or donut right away. Anyway, with this boss, it took me several times to complete, just because the damage that it outputs, even on easy, is just tremendous. And each quarter or 30%, I think, health, it seems to regenerate or grow out 2 more arms, and these abilities of hers are even stronger. Here you see she has now 4 arms, and her sideways attacks and vertical attacks, these little yellow triangles that follow you around, they're easier to dodge when you're in armored form. Impossible to dodge when you're in human form. And these little laser traps that she throws is almost a blessing, because you can hide in one corner and avoid them. But no matter what, I just find it hard to, even under the pattern, because it's so quick. I had a hard time just avoiding the damage and reverting back to human form. Now, in this playthrough, I was able to do it. It's pretty much knowing the little cues, like the lines. She says a certain phrase, then the laser lines activate. When the glowing lights are at the top, obviously I'm gonna get that triple pattern beam coming down, which I can sort of avoid usually. Now, here's the thing that I did not like. You activate your energy powers, and there is a ability coming down, like here. It will still chew up your armor, and you'll be left in berserk mode, which at least gives you a few seconds of high damage output, and you cannot, since you're already losing your armor, no matter what hits you, it doesn't matter. So using that, I was able to just hack her down to 1 more cube, and in human form, just ride it out and beat her. And this was at the 2nd difficulty level. I had to kind of tone it down for a moment. I want to hit her back when I have some more power, maybe on the higher difficulties. But I just want to thank everyone right now for watching our playthrough and our review and our discussion of Daily Espada. Game, as I said before, released today. It's short, it's not perfect, it has its flaws, but there is some entertainment. I really appreciate how this Brazilian developer uses culture as well as some known genres to blend in a nice creative experience, although relatively short. But I think many gamers will find some enjoyment, as we did with playing Daily Espada. As always, the full detailed review is at GoneWithTheWin.com, as well as PC gaming news that we believe you will find interesting. Drop us a comment, let us know how we're doing, or if there's anything you want us to cover. We always appreciate every piece of feedback. Thank you so much.